Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Buddhist Tzu Foundation and UNICEF USA MOU signing ceremony. My name is Austin Chu, and I'm an assistant director at UNICEF USA. We have leaders from our respective organizations here to formalize Buddhist Tzu Foundation support for UNICEF's humanitarian response in Ukraine and neighboring countries. We're all here because we care about the situation of women and children fleeing Ukraine into neighboring countries, and we are compelled to take action because of our missions, values, and commitments. Faith-based organizations have important and unique contributions to make to humanitarian response and development. Faith organizations and leaders such as Tzu Foundation have long played a role in tending to the sick, feeding the hungry, and providing aid and comfort, especially during crises. This is well aligned with UNICEF's work to respond to emergencies, protect the rights of children, and reach the most vulnerable. I'm sure we all wish we could meet under different circumstances. However, we are grateful for this opportunity to come together in alignment around our shared missions. And thanks to modern technology, we're able to gather across 4 different places and time zones in order to make this a ceremony happen. And now, to provide opening reflections, I'd like to invite the CEO of Buddhist Tzu Foundation USA, Deborah Boudreau, to give us some remarks. Deborah, I know you have a lot of experience in responding to disasters, so I'd like to invite you to share some opening reflections with us.
Thank you so much, Austin. Nice to hear from you. And dear friends, my name is Deborah Boudreau. I'm joining from Poland right now. Currently with the team from Turkey and some other countries, we are doing assessment and also work with the local volunteers, identify local partners, and build up capacity to reach more people with Tzuji's assistance. This morning, we went to Poland, Warsaw Central Station. We see so many vulnerable women bringing their children to ask for help. We also visit quite a few NGOs to see the current situation. In addition to Tzuji's own relief work, we are also proud to support UNICEF in their humanitarian response for children and women of Ukrainian who are fleeing to Poland and other neighboring countries. Tzu is committed to alleviating the suffering of all those who in need and recognize the system's support they need to continue along their journey to a better life. We have faith in UNICEF's and cross-cutting approach to meeting the needs of women and children in response to this crisis and create long-term and sustainable solutions. As we share a mission and committed to meeting the needs of the most vulnerable with dignity and respect. Similar to how UNICEF is there before, during, and after the emergencies, we at Tzu committed to striving to be the first to arrive and the last to leave the communities in need. UNICEF has the expertise, the scale, and the reach to deliver impact. And we at Tzu USA are happy to celebrate this momentous occasion where we step forward together towards ensuring that those who are in the midst of this crisis can feel a long-lasting sense of love and care from people around the world and a spark of hope for a brighter tomorrow. Greeting from Poland. The eye we see, the story we heard. It is so important to work together, and we are very proud that UNICEF can provide this platform to all of us. Back to you, Austin.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for sharing your remarks with us and for joining from Poland, where I'm sure you're maintaining a very busy schedule. And thank you once again for sharing with us your commitment to alleviating the suffering of all those in need. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Nienhuis, President and CEO of UNICEF USA, to share his remarks. Michael, I know you've just returned from Romania, so I'd like to invite you to share with us about UNICEF's work on the ground and what you saw while you were there. Over to you, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Austin, and hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a real privilege and an honor to be with you today for this incredible signing ceremony. This type of partnership with the Buddhist TT Foundation is really, really important to us. And having just returned from Romania, I can tell you that it's really important to the UNICEF teams on the ground that are serving Ukrainian refugees and to the people that they're serving. So we thank you very much. We want to thank the foundation and its members and donors. We know that behind the foundation stands many, many individuals who have a commitment and a passion that we all do to serve people who are suffering around the world. So we're grateful to all of them and wish that you would extend our thanks to them as well. We share a common aspiration and commitment to alleviate suffering for the most vulnerable, especially children and women. That's a commitment that we honor at UNICEF for over 75 years now, and we know that it's a strong commitment on your part as well. We also place a special emphasis on our partnerships with faith-based organizations. We know that you have a deep commitment that comes from deep within you to reach out to people who are in need. And we appreciate that and enjoy the partnership with you in the past. We thank you so much for your work with us on the faith-based partnership to end the pandemic and our work in Afghanistan before that. In Ukraine, we all know the situation there, that nearly 5 million people have left the country, about half of them being children, and they've moved into neighboring countries and need our support there. But that leaves many, many people in Ukraine. So it's really important that we continue to remember the 5 million children who are still there, many, many who have been displaced from their homes, from their schools, from their friends, from their activities, from everything that makes a life stable and healthy for a child. So it's very important that we continue to work both in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine. UNICEF has a long history in Ukraine. We have been there for 25 years and ramped up the activity 8 years ago when the fighting broke out in the east. We operate from 8 different centers around the country and are currently providing a variety of activities, including bringing into the country critical medical supplies, medical equipment, clean water, other relief supplies through convoys that have been coming in from other countries. UNICEF runs the largest global humanitarian distribution operation in the world, and we've put that to practice here to make sure critical supplies get to hospitals, get to places where displaced people are gathered in Ukraine. Currently, we have mobile medical teams, mobile mental health teams that are active in the country as well, and continuing to build up the strength of the health system and displaced people support there. I did just return from Romania myself yesterday, actually. Had a chance to visit with our teams there that are working with Ukrainian refugees who have come into the country. I'll just tell you about one group that I met. They're a group of intellectually disabled children who came from a home in a residential center in southern Ukraine. The caregivers there had to make a difficult decision to take them out after the situation got too unsafe for them there. So they made their way across the border into Romania. In Romania, they have been and are being hosted now by a similar residential center there that has in the past hosted Romanian children in similar circumstances. So to see these two groups working really well together, the Romanians and the Ukrainians, despite a language difference in many cases, finding ways to serve these children. I had a chance to meet the children and to play with them a little bit, and just on the one hand breaks your heart to think of what they have been through, but also gives you a great sense of hope that there is services available for them as they leave. UNICEF works with the Romanian social service system that serves disabled children in the country. So we've been active participant in helping create this safe space for the Ukrainian children. I also had a chance to visit one of our Blue Dot centers, which are the kind of one-stop service centers to provide refugees who've crossed over the border the basic services that they need, referral services to other things that they might need, child protection services there, registration of children to make sure that they are well kept track of and reunited with families as they need to. It was, as I'm sure, Deborah, you are having in Poland, a really eye-opening trip to see the need firsthand, and in my case, to see UNICEF in action. And we so appreciate that they will be able to continue in action because of this partnership with you. One of the things that we will be doing together as a partnership is in the child protection space, helping to support UNICEF's mental health teams that are working with children both inside and outside of Ukraine, and also supporting the Blue Dot centers that I mentioned. We'll also be together working in the social protection area, specifically around making available cash transfers to families to help them make the decisions they need on what they need for their families. This is an important way to put resources into the hands of refugees and displaced people, but also gives them back a sense of dignity and control, that they have the resources they need to take care of their families. As you know, UNICEF works all around the world. We are not just active in Ukraine, but in crises and in Yemen and Afghanistan and beyond that, working with children in 180 countries. So all of that work continues, even as we continue to focus our work here in Ukraine. We don't want to forget all of those other children around the world that we work with as well, even while the needs are so high in Ukraine and the surrounding countries. So my great thanks again to the foundation, to its members, to its donors for making this possible. And we commit to you very good use of these funds to directly support the work of UNICEF in service to children and women from the Ukraine situation. Thank you.
Michael, thank you so much for providing us an update on the situation in Ukraine and the neighboring countries, as well as your poignant reminder of the children that remain in Ukraine, as well as those who are still impacted by other crises around the world. It's important that we not forget. And thank you as well for sharing, bringing back to us the story of the people that you met while you were in Romania. And now I'd like to introduce Hoen Yen, Chief Executive Officer of the Buddhist Tzu Charity Foundation, to share his remarks on behalf of Tzu.
Precious occasion. Yes. Okay. The signing of an MOU between UNICEF and Tzu Foundation to come together in assisting the refugees from Ukraine, with a special focus on the care of women and children that are escaping violence and conflicts. Ever since its founding 56 years ago, Tzu Foundation has paid special attention to helping displaced people, whether due to poverty, natural disasters, and conflict. In recent years, we have had the opportunity to assist refugees around the world, including building and operating schools for Syrian refugees in Turkey, operating a clinic for undocumented refugees in Thailand, and assisting refugees in Jordan as well as in Serbia. Since the start of hostilities in Ukraine, Dharma Master Zhen Yan, the founder of Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation, has continually expressed her concern for the population of Ukraine, and especially for those who have been displaced by the conflict. Tzu Chi has today held 9 distributions across 3 cities in Poland, providing physical goods alongside much needed psychosocial and emotional spiritual care to the women and families on the move, with the plan to expand the aid to reach 15,000 by June. 8 items have included but are not limited to Biodronka gift cards, eco blankets, sleeping bags, and food items. However, we recognize that a crisis of this scale requires collaborative efforts from governments, corporations, NGOs, and local communities to ensure that all needs are met with compassion, gratitude, respect, and love. We therefore proud to support UNICEF with a contribution of $10 million. This funding will be utilized to provide the love and care for the Ukrainian children and women in Poland and other neighboring countries through a variety of critical life-saving services, including health, water, sanitation, and hygiene, children protection, education, and social protection services. This includes setting up Blue Dot hubs, one-stop service centers that meet the needs of women and children, including access to specialized mental health, psychosocial support, and children-friendly spaces, so children can be children. We would like to thank you. We'd like to thank our donors for the impact that we can make together with UNICEF, Deborah Badraw, and the team for the wonderful and crucial work your team does each and every day. We hope that this collaboration can be the start of many to come. Lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to the community to come together to support those in need. May there be a swift end to the conflicts, and refugees and internally displaced persons be able to soon return home and resume their lives in peace and safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CEO Yan, for sharing your remarks, as well as in leading the foundation in providing generous support to UNICEF's humanitarian response for the people of Ukraine and surrounding countries. Thank you also for your reminder to the global community to continue to support and to come together and mobilize further resources to send our love and care to those in the region. And now I would like to begin the signing of the MOU. If I could invite each of respective CEOs to take your copies of the MOUs. When you're ready, I would like to invite you both to sign respective MOUs. Please hold up the MOU for us all to see. Wonderful. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Po-Yen, for formalizing the agreement for Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation's support of $10 million to UNICEF's response for the humanitarian situation in Ukraine. With that, I am pleased to conclude this MOU signing ceremony. As we've all noted, the work continues, and we hope to continue our extensive collaboration and to deepen together our commitment to our respective missions and to alleviate the suffering of people of the world. Thank you all once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that concludes the ceremony side of things. Michael, would we be able to have a bit of an interview with you at the stage?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, great. So I will open the mic up, and then we will have our colleague, Andrew, who will be doing the interview.
Mr. Michael, hi. I'm Andrew Her, the reporter from the
Hi.
ITV. And here are a few
Andrew.
questions to interview about this MOU. What impacts do you think this collaboration of $10 million between UNICEF and BTCF will have in Ukraine, neighboring countries, and internationally?
Well, the impact of this partnership will be directly benefiting children and women, especially the most vulnerable, both in Ukraine and in neighboring countries. This will help empower UNICEF's work in the region. UNICEF has been active in Ukraine for about 25 years. We've got 150 staff on the ground that were there before the war broke out and that are still there working hard. We have many programs going on within the country, which is important because most Ukrainians are still there. Most Ukrainian children are still there and are displaced from their homes. So services to them are critically important. But likewise, refugees who have crossed borders into other countries need our help as well. The wonderful thing about this partnership is the breadth of our work together in child protection and social protection will help in a variety of ways, including mental health and psychosocial support for children, support of our Blue Dot one-stop refugee centers that provide safe spaces for children and women and connect them to services that they need, and also cash transfers to put money in their hands for them to make the best decisions for their families on what's needed. So the impact will be great and wide-ranging, both in the country and with the refugee population. So we're incredibly grateful.
Okay, there's a second question is about what role the civil society organization play in such a humanitarian crisis?
Well, I think there's a long history of civil society organizations taking a lead role in these crises. UNICEF has been around for 75 years, working in crisis situations all around the globe. We partner with many, many different kinds of civil society organizations, including with our faith-based partners like the Tzu Chi Foundation. We're so grateful for them, but also on the ground locally, working with civil society organizations that are there. I visited just recently, this week even, one of our Blue Dot centers in Romania. And among the partners there are local civil society organizations that have come around that center because it's a known place that mothers and children can come for safety to provide their services in providing food assistance and clothing assistance and things like that. So I think the local civil society organizations, our global civil society organizations all play a vital role, and alongside governments in this case. We need the support of governments too. And I think civil society organizations that have a long history of working effectively with governments are positioned to do the most important work.
And how you envision this partnership between UNICEF and BDCF in the future?
Well, we've been really thrilled to have a strong partnership with the foundation already in our work in Afghanistan, the crisis there. and also in our interfaith partnership to end the pandemic, focused on UNICEF's work globally on COVID. So this is this represents a step up even further of this partnership. I think one of the things we have learned together is that we share a common mission and an aspiration to bring help and support to the most vulnerable people in the world, especially women and children. I think that common focus, that common mission makes us great partners. We've also found that we work well together, that we can have good wide-ranging conversations about the needs and form the kind of partnership that will really make a difference. So I think we're just at the beginning of a really effective partnership that we hope will just flourish in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael and Austin. So thank you very much for your time. And I'm sure we will meet again soon or talk soon over the phone. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah.
Bye.
Thank you, Michael.
执行长，光宗跟如意在这边哦。